Hey, what's going on, everybody? So my topic was college sports and athletes. So there's huge debates on college sports and athletes. Whether they should be paid or not. Um, there's a story about Johnny Manziel, who was a quarterback for Texas A&M. Um, he said, it's crazy to me that it's not allowed. Actors, actresses, these people can sign things and get paid for it. How come this kid can't? How come a kid that's at a high level that's going to be offered a big amount of money can't sit down and be like, damn, this is my decision? So basically, there's a huge argument between um, whether they should be paid or not. Over the past years, college football, baseball, basketball, they brought huge happiness, like uncanny happiness to viewers that no one would have ever thought to be possible. College athletes are thriving in sports. Um, even during this time, like with coronavirus and social justice movements, it gives people a second to get away from all the crazy stuff going on in the world. Star college athletes make their respective university millions of dollars each year from ticket sales to jersey sales, food sales, so much more. And so they're somewhat already paid for what they do, with scholarships and stuff like that. But because of these arguments, I'll inform you the fight between paying and not paying student athletes. So to begin, kind of talking about the revenue the athletes bring to the universities, like I just said, the just from the March Madness alone, which is a basketball tournament at the end of each basketball season, the NCAA makes up upwards of $500 million just from that alone. So, and you can't even imagine, but the total that they make for all college sports is around $14 billion a year. So, NCAA athletes are already prohibited for making profit off their name, image, or likeness, so they can't do anything like that. There's a story about a player, Zion Williamson, who plays for Duke, or played for Duke. He plays in the NBA now, but played for Duke. Um, people like Spike Lee, Barack Obama, like all those people were at this game because they were playing against their rival, North Carolina. And Zion being the number one athlete in his class, it's a huge game. So 30 seconds into the game, Zion he rips through his shoe. And nobody really think anything about that. But since he was such a big athlete, Nike actually lost 1.1% of their sales just from that 30 seconds, and that was equivalent to $1.1 billion. So you can just imagine from 34 seconds that one athlete changed their whole entire company uh, for for a good minute. Um, so going off of that, there's pros and cons obviously for each uh, aspect, of paying or not paying. So some of the pros would be, their talent that they have, they should receive profit. There's a quote that I saw. It said, "If you've ever been a college athlete, then you know how hard you have to train in order to compete. It can feel like a part-time job, which is why some people believe that athletes should be paid for their work. Um, their job is being an athlete, so they don't really have extra time to have a job to buy things they want or eat the things they want. They have to just kind of go off of a meal plan and things like that." Um, Athletic scholarships alone don't necessarily cover, like I just said, cover all their expenses. They just cover books and where they stay and tuition, stuff like that. Um, Also, it would give them, if they got paid, they could be able to support their families. Giving money back or doing things they need to do to help their family live or survive. In some cases, also. Um, I believe that if athletes got paid in college, they would stay. They would be willing to stay longer at universities in order to make their college career better, in order to make their professional career better. But also going off of that, there are some cons that go off of that too. It would eliminate the line between college and professional athletes. So right now, there's obviously a huge difference between college and professional athletes. But if they did that, that's the NCAA's number one reason for why they don't pay athletes, because that if once they cross that threshold, it just wouldn't be it wouldn't make college as fun to watch because they're getting paid for it, so they're not really they don't not that they don't care as much, but that's what it would make it seem like. Um, Also, it would prioritize athleticism over academics. So if they're getting paid for it, they're not necessarily going to school to get an education. They're going to school to get paid for it, to get profit off of the name on the back of the jersey instead of the name on the front of the jersey. Um, the point of college isn't to become a professional athlete; it's to get an education for most people. And another reason, so paying athletes would be a burden on smaller schools. Not only do they not have as much revenue coming in, but it would be unfair if somebody was accepted into a superior program that they would get paid just because they were accepted there. And also, there's just be too much controversy within the NCAA and things like that. So, to review everything, there are many pros and cons to both sides of the story. In my opinion, the cons outweigh the pros, so it would be better for them to just keep it the way it is. And they probably won't ever end up paying athletes. Based on the topic at hand, uh, like I said, there are many people on both sides of the argument, which make good cases for both sides. So with that being said, that's my informative essay.